All right, week 14, set to SWYK 2. This is long division, and I wanted to do it with you because you really need to see this, and hopefully we can go quickly through these examples. Not going to have you do a ton of long division questions, but we do need to introduce it to you, show it to you, because you will need to use it in these two examples. Notice it's not just a nice thing that you're dividing by, right? It's not like an x minus 3 or x plus 4. So both of these have something unusual about them. Okay, it's not a 1x plus or a 1x minus. Okay, I need you to focus on this 2x minus 2x and ask yourself, what would you multiply it by to get 8x cubed? The answer would be 4x squared. Now, some math teachers would probably argue, oh, you need to put that over the top of the x squareds. That's a bunch of baloney. You can if you want to, if it really makes you feel, good about yourself deep down inside. But I want you to kind of put it above the one that you divided by so that you know that went, the 2x went into the 8x cubed 4x squared times. Now you're going to distribute this times both of those things, giving you 8x cubed minus 16x squared. Now, most of you know that in division from elementary school, that the next thing that the teacher is going to tell you is to subtract. Well, guess what? I don't trust your subtraction skills. Some kids just really, they do a great job of subtracting the first two, and then they blow the second ones. So here's what you guys do a great job with. You guys do fantastic at addition. So I'm going to do something, or I'm going to recommend that you do something. Distribute a -1. In other words, I just multiplied that bottom row by -1. And now I have changed it from subtraction to addition. You guys are all awesome at this. 8x cubed plus -8x cubed, gone. And -6x squared plus 16x squared makes 10x squared. Because if I don't do that, then you guys tend to fall apart. Okay, and then we got a -6x. And make sure you bring that one down. Okay, so now we're going to repeat the process. We're going to focus our attention on the 2x squared, or the 2x, and what would you multiply it by to get 10x squared? Of course, the answer is 5x. Okay, but now you've got to distribute, giving me 10x squared. My face seems to be in the way. And 5x times -4 is -20x. Looks like I'm going to run into this last. I'll have to erase some of this. Okay, so next, as I said before, just distribute the -1 and then add, so that you don't make a mistake and you get 14x and you can carry down the -28. Okay, so now we're going to repeat the process. 2x times what gives me -14x? Answer is +7. And then I can multiply the 7 times, you guessed it, both of these things, giving me 14x minus 28. And yes, I am going to run into this next problem, so I probably will have to erase here. And I distribute the -1 and add, and I get 0. So the remainder did end up being 0. What was my final answer? My final answer is right there on top. 4x squared plus 5x plus 7. Okay, let me pause and look at this question. Oh, I guess I don't need to. What is the quotient? The quotient is, you got it. We figured out the quotient. Remainder, 0. Okay. Type all coefficients and constant terms as an integer or fraction. Okay. So, if it does end up being a fraction, which it might, we will have to do that. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm going to do my best not to erase the last problem, but we'll see. We might have to. So, x squared times what gives me 7x cubed? That would be 7x, right? And then I'm going to distribute this and this. The one thing you got to kind of be aware of or cautious about, you'll get 7x cubed here, but then 7x times +4, that gives me 28x. Notice that I have to skip and move all the way over here. Okay? And as I told you before, distribute the -1. This makes this subtraction, right? If it'll help you, I'll take that out so that it doesn't confuse you. But when you subtract, or when you add, I should say, bring down that term right there, and then you got a -23x. Then, of course, you can bring down your +9 at the end. Okay, so now we're going to see what else we have going on here. We use red this time. What would you multiply x squared by to get -6x squared? The answer would be -6x. And then we'd oops. This -6, not -6x. Because that would be an x cubed. Alright, so then we get -6x squared. And -24, which goes down here to the end. And of course we multiply by -1 in that bottom row, and then we add, and we end up with -23x and a +33. Well, x squared can't go into -23x. So guess what? You found a binomial remainder. Yes, folks, that is the entire thing is the remainder. Okay, so we ended up with 7x minus 6 and -23x plus 33. Now, in pre-calc next year, they will ask you to write it like this. So in pre-calc, that'll be your answer. But for this Math Excel question in Algebra 2, they'll let you do it like that. But, you know, when you get all grown up next year, that'll be the way you do it. Okay, next. The next part will be pretty much review, so this won't be hard for you. On number 3 through the end here, we're using the remainder theorem to decide whether something is a factor or not. So x plus 2, you know, that's what produces -2. We got to plug it into each one of those things. And when we do, in this case, we ended up with a -1, so that no, it is not. Remember, you're looking for a remainder of 0. Okay, the next one, x plus 6, right? Set it equal to 0, that's -6. Plugging it in, -6 all the way through. Make sure you pay attention to the signs. It does matter. We ended up with 0, so that means the answer is yes, it is a factor. X plus 3 on the next question. So that translates into -3 for the x, you know, the 0. Plugged it in, got 4. Did not get 0, so the answer is no. Question 6, x plus 5, that translates to -5. Plugged it in, ended up with 0. That's a yes. Okay, so remainder 0, the answer is yes, it's a factor. Remainder not 0, the answer is no. And that's it for this SWYK. And now you are ready for that next assignment and your test. Talk to you later.